Lordy, lordy, lordy. Hello. Excuse me. This is like a very impromptu video. I don't know if it's even going to make it to YouTube, but I just watched this podcast about colorism and it just blew my mind. Like, okay, so I think it's really crazy. So, one thing is, I saw this man, I think he's a Dominican man, and he's probably my color, maybe even a little lighter. He's probably my color. And he was on his YouTube channel and he was like, oh yeah, like I'm dark skinned. And I was like, because I'm an American Black woman. I was born and raised in Michigan. I would never call him, and the light is not doing me any favors right now. Like, it's pretty dark, but I'm not the lightest, but nobody's ever called me dark before. I'm like caramel colored. And so he was my color and he called himself dark skinned, and I would never call him dark skinned. So I was like, that's interesting. And the fact that we even have the whole light skin, dark skin, brown skin, caramels, like, it's just so stupid to me anyways. I mean, it's not stupid. Like, skin is a big part of you and it's beautiful. I love my complexion, but it's just stupid. But it's so interesting because I just heard some like dark skinned women talking about their experience with colorism, and like it literally brought me to tears because I was like, oh my gosh, I never knew it was like that because I grew up as a light skinned woman. And then even so, I have like so many perspectives to think from. I guess I just never thought of the privilege of it. So, one, being a light skinned woman, despite everything else, okay, one, I'm a light skinned woman. My early formative years were in Detroit, and so it was around Black people. And even there in Detroit, I was considered light skinned. Like, even amongst all Black people, I was considered light skinned. Um, and I was really young. And so those were my formative years. And my sisters are also lighter. And I might even be the darkest of my sisters, honestly. And the girls on the block and even my cousin, they were all darker. So I was like the lightest kid on the street. Well, besides my sisters. So there was that. And then I grew up, like, I went to school in white schools, and there were hardly any Black people at all. There were only two other Black girls in my elementary school, and they were, what's it called? Biracial. Their mother was Black and their father was white, which is different than being Black. Like, there's so much nuance in it. It's such a bizarre subject. And I feel like I really never put that much thought into it until I just heard this podcast, and now my mind is like going in circles. So one advantage I had as a light-skinned woman is I've always been desired by Black men. Always. Always. So I never felt that rejection of like not being desired by my race. And that was really, really important for my self-esteem. Like, even I went through like some mild bullying. Sometimes it was hard for me to like make friends with Black girls because they thought I acted like a white girl and things like that. So, I didn't always have a lot of Black female friends, and that was difficult for me. And I think that's important for a young girl growing up, and I didn't have that. But like, Black men always rode for me. I always felt protected by Black men. I have my father in my life, in my home. He's still married to my mother and loves her very much. So like, I always saw Black men as like my protectors. They always looked out for me. One time, one Black guy was like, and this was such a little tiny moment. I don't even know if I like acknowledged it at the time, but it has stuck with me so much. So one time, this one Black guy, he was like saying something about me on the internet, and immediately it was on Twitter. And like, before I even got the notification, I saw it to defend myself. Another Black man had already jumped in to defend me and was like, absolutely don't talk about her ever again. Don't ever do that. Don't never ever do that. And that just made me feel so loved that I literally have held that in my heart till this day. And with this big thing going on in the world right now of like, Black women being more educated than Black men and being breadwinners and blah 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 blah, and a lot of a lot of Black women are choosing to date outside our race, which is fine. that could never be me. It just could never be me. And I know like I'm on YouTube, so I listen to the YouTube spaces, and a lot of Black women say like it's to our disadvantage to be so undyingly loyal to Black men because they haven't been loyal to us. But that just simply hasn't been my experience like at all. I love dark-skinned men. I love dark-skinned people. I love melanin. I love color. I love who I am. And like Black men have always had my back 1,000,000% of the time. And so I just refuse. Like I refuse. And now, like I said, I never really took colorism into account because I don't know, I guess I just never, because my experience wasn't, like, I feel like Black people who grew up around a lot of Black people experienced a lot of colorism, but since I'm a Black person who grew up around a lot of white people, I experienced more racism than colorism. So I just didn't even think about colorism, but now that I'm hearing other perspectives, I see how blessed I truly am as a light-skinned woman and how much privilege that came with of having the experience of being so loved, desired, and protected by Black men. Like, I just feel so grateful. And so for me, I only date Black men. Like, I almost feel like this peer pressure from Black women to be like, oh, like, I'm open to other races. But in all reality, like, I'm not. Like, I would never want to bring a white man home to my father. And my father is cool with it. Like, he would accept him, but no, like my grandfather, Walter Livingston, is literally he's my heartbeat. Like, he's my everything. Like, I pray to him. Like, I literally do. Like, yes, God first, but also like my grandfather first. Like, he's everything to me. Like, literally, like I just look up to him so much, and I have him on such a pedestal that I want to marry a man just like my grandfather, like a dark-skinned man with a wonderful smile and sparkling eyes and a kind voice. Like, that's so important to me. So I'm really, really grateful for that. So now the other side of things is like, I feel that at the time, it was really hard for me growing up around all white people, and I tried multiple times to actually like transfer schools so I could be around Black people. Because even like one thing about me, even when I'm going through hardship, even when I'm going through like low points, I'm innately aware of what is going on. You know what I mean? Like, even like when I'm in the best times of my life, I'm innately aware of like, these are the best times of my life. I'm not just like, you know, like ungrounded or out of touch. So I knew what being around all those white people was doing to my self-esteem, and I just never felt like, I just didn't like it. But I'm looking back now, and I think that it was really a blessing, because being around a lot of Black people who look like you, and then getting bullied, getting picked on, and feeling undesirable must really, really, really hurt. To be rejected by your people, that's like a small death. If you think of us like ancestrally, like getting exiled from the tribe, like that's a matter of life or death. So like being around people who look like you and not being accepted amongst them, I can't even imagine what that would do for a young girl's self-esteem. So for me, not only was I accepted amongst white people, but I felt like I had to work really hard, and I always had something to prove, and I always had to be the spokesperson for all Black people and all things Black. And it was just a lot of pressure. I do feel grateful because like when I felt like rejected or ostracized, I always knew it's because they were different from me. You know, like those I just knew I was amongst foreigners. Like, I was just amongst people who are not my people. So it didn't really hurt that bad. Like, was it fun? No. Did I like it there? No. Was I always praying for like to get to college or to be in a place where I don't have to always be around all these damn white people? Yes. I couldn't wait. Are you kidding? I was like, oh, like white people are just so stale. Like, that's why I can't understand Black people who choose to date outside their race. Like, why would you want to be like, why? Me coming from someone who grew up around so many white people, like, why would I want to spend any unnecessary time around these people? And mind you, like, my best friends were white. Like, white people have been so good to me. I've been to their vacation houses. I've been to Florida. Like, I've traveled with them. Like, white people have always been good to me. So it's no tea, no shade. It's just, why would you not want to be amongst your own people? Because when you're around white people, I feel like you are innately aware, like, that is them and this is me. And maybe that's in a very American mindset, because I know, like, a lot of my friends who are of other races, they're Jamaican, they're African, so they grew up around all black people. I think that they see it different, like, oh, we're all human. But for me, growing up in America, specifically around a lot of white people, I'm like, no. That is them and this is me. We're two very different, like, we almost feel like two different species. And, like, yes, I can go be around white people and I can enjoy them and I respect their culture and things like that. It's not mine. It could never be mine. We are not the same. And so I'm grateful for that experience now, looking back, because the bullying never hurt me. Like, none of it really touched me. And, like, there were certain things I was protected from. Like, you know, a white person isn't going to say certain things to you because of, like, the race card or whatever. So the bullying can't be that bad. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's not like I didn't go to school in, like, the deep South, like, somewhere, like, super racist or anything. Like, I'm from the North. So, you know, like, they're not going to be that mean to you. I think I had a girl, like, called me a monkey once. But I was just so much more beautiful than her. Like, it just never hurt. Because I was already desired by the men who I desired, which were black men. I knew I was beautiful. Like, nobody could tell me I wasn't beautiful. Even white men know I was beautiful. And then with white women, like, sometimes I would sense, like, a little bit of, like, an inferiority complex. You know, like, a little thing, like, I told you, like, a girl called me a monkey before, like, blah, blah, blah. But I knew I looked better than her. I knew I was better than her. Like, and I had 2 parents in the household, and we came from money. And it was just, like, it was just nothing to be mad about. Whereas people who grew up around a lot of all black people, like, everybody looks like them, not, you know, kind of like them, and then they get bullied there, like, that would really hurt. Like, I actually can't even imagine. I thought that it was bad having to, like, be uprooted from my people and placed in this foreign place, but actually I think maybe it was probably good for my self-esteem, because I just knew I was that girl. And, like, there is something to be said. I don't think that I have this, but, like, I have felt it in certain instances, like the token black girl thing. Like, it's something nice about being different. Like, it's something nice about being, like, the only one. And it's just a lot better for your self-esteem than being like everybody else, and then those people say that they don't like you. I can't believe it. So this is just, I guess this is a journey. Like, this is the first time that I'm acknowledging my light skin privilege. I didn't even know it was a thing. I really didn't. I mean, I knew about colorism, but I didn't think it was, like, that super deep. And I wonder how it would have been if I had been a dark-skinned girl, but around all white people. I still feel like that would be better than being dark-skinned around all black people, and the black people are picking on you for being dark-skinned. That would not be good. But then also, I am just, like, you know, I feel like aesthetically pleasing, like, outside of just my color. Even if I were dark-skinned, like, I feel like I have facial symmetry, I have beautiful features. I don't know. I think. I'm pretty sure. But, like, so being a beautiful black girl, no matter the shade, is always going to be better than, like, if I were light-skinned and, like, not aesthetically pleasing, or, like, overweight, or, like, something like that. Like, there's just so much that goes into it, like, pretty privilege, color privilege, featureism. Like, it's just really crazy. It really is. And I love for our generation that we're really, like, acknowledging our biases and just, like, doing our best to really be, like, good people. Sorry. Yeah, to be, like, good people and, like, inflict as little trauma as possible. Even though, like, someone told one Nigerian man on TikTok, he was talking about how, like, bullying actually really worked for him and it humbled him, and it was a good thing. And, like, I say that, I think that's good to a point, but, like, people wanting to commit suicide over this, like, it's just really scary. Like, I just want us to be good to people. Everyone is beautiful. Like, I used to get bullied from my forehead. And it's funny because my forehead's not even that big. And that was the main thing I got bullied for. Even like, I remember this one man. And this man is so disgusting and corny, actually. I wish I had just like read the hell out of him. But, anyways, he was like, you were so pretty. If it wasn't for your forehead, like, you would really be a 10. And he was a whole 4. Like, it was the audacity for me. Mind you, it was a black man. An ugly black man. And, like, it would have been really hard, actually. I think it was a blessing. I really wanted to go to school with all black people. I felt like so out of place around in the white schools, but I think it was for the best. I don't think that my little heart could have taken the bullying, because black people can be really mean sometimes. Like, my ex used to tell me how, like, they used to call him African booty scratcher, and they would, like, make monkey noises at him while he was going to class, and he had to fight every single day. And, like, let's just not do that anymore. Like, I want better for this next generation. I really do. Because it's so ghetto. Like, ew.